So hello everyone. So once again we came to a new session in which we have targeted to complete Linux in our one go. Okay. So how we will do this one? Okay. So have you ever thought of learning a Linux operating system? So why do software and network engineer love Linux? Like you have thoughts in your mind that why software and the network engineer love Linux more as compared to other operating system, and why Linux is different from the other. So why don't you find yourself? Okay, so let's see. So this is a session in which we learn that Linux operating system from the scratch, and let's start. So so in our world of the operating system, so Linux stands so Linux, okay, Linux. So this is the what like simple like Linux. So in the world of operating system, the Linux stand out as a powerful, versatile, and the open source solution that has revolutionized how we interact with the computer. Okay, so we can say that. So in the world of operating system, so Linux stand out as a versatile, and open source. Okay. Uh, Powerful, versatile, open source solution that revolutionize how we interact with computer. So Linux is a strong platform to build, develop, and innovate, not only established IT professional but also for the beginners. Okay, and that revolutionize the computer. Okay, not still okay. So Linux is the operating system. So Linux stands as a powerful, versatile, and open source solution that revolutionize how we interact with the computer. So the Linux is a strong platform to build, develop, and innovate, not only to establish for the like. So of course OS is a software that and especially designed to operate, control, and coordinate all the hardware and the software resources available in the. And the next thing is that it processes a user interface for management of the task and can done by end user. And so such as running application, file management, input output management. The operating system, for example, is Windows, Mac OS, Linux, and the OS and OS provide the foundation to ensuring that the other program can, especially different user can effectively share the resources in computer. Okay, input output management. Okay, input output management, the output like Mac OS, Windows, Linux, and the other different from okay. So we understand what operating. So what is OS? So OS is a software. So OS is a software that is specially designed to operate, coordinate all the hardware and the software and resources available in the computer. It process the user interface management and task can be done by end user, and such as running the application like management, input output management, operating system like Windows, Mac, Linux. The OS provide the foundation for the ensuring that the other program can, especially different user can effectively share the resources of the computer. Okay, so we have understand what is operating system. So understand and why it needed. And so the next question is what is Linux? Okay, what is Linux? So Linux is a Unix based open source. So when we're talking about the Linux, so we can say that Linux is a Unix based open source operating system. Okay. And Linux has grown to be a major force in the tech world and powering anything from the smartphone and the server to supercomputer, including embedded system. an open source operating system. Okay. And Linux has grown to be a major force in the tech world, empowering anything from the smartphone, server, computer, including embedded system. An open source operating system, one which source code is available for viewing, modification, distribution by anybody. Hence, by the implication and the collaboration and the innovative communities. Like for the tech world and programmer that empower, empowering that smartphone computer, including like our smartphone, and and open source operating system in which in which the code is available and can be can be can be modified, distributed by anybody, and for the innovative communities. Okay. So this is Linux. So Linux is a Unix-based operating system. So Linux on a major force in a tech like force that empowering the everything from the smartphone to like server and computer, including which source code is available and can be used for modification, distribution, and the modification, all these things. Okay. So this is Linux. So and why Linux? So like the question is that why we use Linux. So let's see. So the question is that why we use Linux. So why we use Linux? Okay. So for answering this question, let's see what is the answer. So like use cases of the Linux and why we choose Linux. So like first of all, it is open source, free to use and modify feature like modify, prompting, collaboration, and innovation in the community. Second thing is that security. So no for the reverse security and the resistance to the malware and viruses. And third one is like flexibility. It can be used for anything from the desktop to server and also for the embedded system. Fourth one is that performance. So efficient resource management, suitable for both high performance computing and low specs device. And fifth one is like community support, a large community, active community, offering a lots of support and resources in terms of documentation and the tool. Understand that modification prompting, okay, like security. And second thing is that is security, okay, and the security and assistance. And the third one is that flexibility, okay. And the third flexibility is we use for anything on desktop, server, and also for the immediate. And the fourth one that we're talking about the fourth one is that performance and so efficient resource management, suitable for both high performance computing and the low specs devices. And the last one, fifth one, is like high community support and the active, which offering a lots of uh, so like lots of documentation and tools. Okay, lots of documentation and tools and modification. So these are the like benefits of the first one. The first one is that open source. Okay, the first one, it is open source, free to available. And second one is that security, which is known for the is known for the like robust security. Right, known for the robust security, robust security. Okay, and third one is like flexibility. Okay, flexibility. So we can say that this one as a, so this is flexibility. Okay, so like flexibility can be used anything from the desktop server to like immediate or the embedded. embedded embedded system. And the fourth one is the performance. Performance. What is performance? So efficient resource management, suitable and the high performance for the high specs and low specs. And the fifth one, that is like community support. So it have a use community support. Okay, that's why we are using Linux. Okay. So let's see. The first thing is that we understand. Like first we. So this is what. This is the overview of the Linux. Okay. And let's move to the first question is that the introduction of the Linux. Okay. So this intro. Okay. So Linux is based on the Unix operating system as we discussed earlier. Okay. Mm. And Unix is the powerful multi-user multitasking operating system. So developed by in 1970, and it is laid a foundation for the modern operating system, including Linux. So Linux is free and open source, accessible to everyone, and promote global collaboration. Promote global collaboration. Okay. And Linux offer an efficient performance and strong security. So it work well across many devices. Okay. It work across many devices. Okay. And so how to start Linux? So let's see how we have to start. So first of all, we understand that what is Linux. Linux is open source used for the cloud, DevOps, cyber security. Okay. And what is Linux? So it is a free open source operating system used for cloud, DevOps. Mm. Fast, secure, customizable, run on server, mobile and IoT devices. So these are the like feature of the Linux. Okay. So then how to start Linux? Okay. So how to start with Linux? Okay. To start with the Linux, first of all, we have to like choose the distro. Okay. Like choose the distro. So first of all, like choosing the distro. So like we have to choose the distro. Okay, that is Ubuntu, Fedora, Mint, Kali. Okay, then we have to like install via like VirtualBox, dual boot, WSL, and the run the command. Where do we have to run the command? And run the command. Okay, like in terminal or PowerShell. So we have to like decide where we have to run this one. Okay. So after that, what is the Linux workflow? So Linux workflow will look like first of all the users. Okay, it is user. Then go to like terminal. Okay, terminal, terminal. Then after then after terminal to cell. Okay, cell, cell to kernel. Okay, kernel. Okay. After that, kernel to like file system. That is file system. We call file system. File system. Okay. After that, file system to like output. A command from like what is the output. So this is the workflow from user to terminal. Terminal. Okay. Then cell. Then kernel. Okay. Then file system. Okay. Then the output. So this is the workflow of the Linux. Okay. And like must know Linux command. So these are like for the navigating the directory ls cd pwd, work with file, that is cat cp rm touch. Okay, when we have to manage the like folders, so mkdir rmdr. So these are the things. Okay. So so this is the introduction part of the Linux. Okay. So we can say that uh, so we have to like give a space. Okay. Okay. So we can say that Linux combine a wide range of open source tool, component, and to complete the computing environment. And computing to like computing. So these components include file system, user interface, user utilities, and application program, all working together to manage the hardware and enable user to interact with their computer. Okay, like all are working together to like this thing. So we can say we understand like Linux combine the wide range of open source tools, okay, and the component to compute the computing environment, and component like this file system, like user interface and user utilities, and the program application programs, all working together to manage the hardware which enabling the user to interact with their computer system. So like interact with their computer system. Okay, system. So this is what Linux. Okay, file system and like this one. So like Linux combine wide range of open source tools. Okay, have the open source tools. Okay. So what is like next thing is that a distribution in Linux. So what is distribution in Linux? So we have to understand what is distribution. Distribution, distribution, distribution. Okay, distribution in the Linux. So so when we're talking about the distribution, so in that case, we understand. So what is distribution? So we have to write like so a Linux distribution is a complete operating system built around a Linux kernel combined with a system software, library, and application. It provides user with any everything needed to run Linux on different type of devices. Okay. So like command to run the Linux on the different devices. So we can say that. So Linux distribution is the complete operating system that built on the Linux kernel. Okay, and that combining the system software and the libraries and the application, and it provide the user everything that needed to run this Linux on the different type of devices. So like this is what like distribution. So distribution is something that we want to like distribute some software. Okay. So next point is that distribution include Linux kernel, system libraries and Linux kernel system libraries and the essential essential tools, and different distribution are designed different purpose, such as desktop server embedded so like desktop server embedded system. So each distro come with own package manager, desktop environment, and the default application. Okay, the user can choose the distribution based on the performance, stability, and ease of uses and customization level. Okay, then like next thing is that popular distribution. So like next thing is that or is that a popular Linux distribution. So like popular Linux distribution. So like around 600 plus Linux distribution is available. So like 600 plus. So in that case, 600 plus Linux distribution is available, and some of the popular Linux distribution are like we can say that Linux distribution a complete operating system that build on this like kernels, command system, software library, all these things. And the popular Linux distribution we have we can say that Ubuntu, Debian, Kali Linux, Linux Mint, like this one is Debian. Okay, this is Debian. Okay, Debian, Debian. Okay, this Kali Linux, and this is like Linux and Kali Linux, and lastly we have like Linux Mint. Okay, so these are the like different distribution. Okay, so Ubuntu is a user-friendly Linux distribution mainly for the beginner desktop and the server and for the cloud user. So like Ubuntu is like for the beginner, and Debian is a stable, reliable. Debian is like stable and reliable Linux distribution. So widely used for server and as a base of many other distributions. So and it's also used for the base for the many other operating system. And when we order Kali Linux, so that is like a security focus. So as the Kali Linux focus on the like security focus distribution used for penetration testing, ethical hacking, and the digital forensic, all these things. So where we use as a Kali Linux. And the last is like Linux Mint. So it is a beginner friendly Linux distribution. Linux Mint are designed to be simple, familiar with the Windows servers. Okay, so like there are many more, but we like discuss only for Ubuntu, like user friendly. Ubuntu like user friendly Linux distribution mainly used for the beginner on the desktop server and like beginners desktop server and the cloud computing. Debian is like the base for the all the other reliable Linux distribution. Okay, Kali Linux is used for the like security purpose, for the penetration testing, ethical hacking, digital forensic, all these things where the Kali Linux is like widely used. Okay, so we move to like importance of Linux. So we understand what is Linux command, wide range of these things, why we use Linux. Then what is the distribution in the Linux? We understand distribution which contain like software library, okay, software library, okay, library application, software library applications, okay, applications, okay, or like all these things. So together we call as a distribution. So understand. So like what is the next topic is that is importance of Linux. Okay, so Linux is a like we can say that it the importance of Linux. So we can say that. So for this one, okay, what's up? Hello. I think everything seems to great. Okay. So this state, you know, okay, frame drop, okay, logs, okay, no issue. So Linux is free open source operating system known for like flexibility, stability, strong security, and it is widely used for the personal computing, server environment, and enterprise system because of its performance and customizable capability. So we can say like operating system known for the flexibility, stability, and strong security, and widely used for the personal computing, like used for the personal computing, okay, server environment and the enterprise system because of their like performance and the customizable capability. So these are like, so it offer the high security. So it offer the high security. So it have the high security, okay, and stability, an ideal match for the server and the development world, and fully open source. Okay, it is like fully open source, and free to use and modify and distribute. So highly flexible to customize. Okay, highly flexible to be customized So suit for different user and different industry needs. So it is must for the different user have a different need, different enterprise have a different need. So it can be customized easily, and that is the most important like profit for like importance of this Linux. Okay, and supported by the large global community and the vast software ecosystem. So these are the like importance of the Linux. So, and the next topic is that when we're talking about the architecture, okay, architecture of Linux. So when we're talking about the architecture, so of a Linux, so what is the issue? Okay, I think I missed this part. Okay, architecture of Linux. So Linux, okay. So we have to write this one. So Linux architecture refer to a layered structure of the Linux operating system that can define how its components such as kernel cell, system library, and hardware interact with each other to manage system resources and execute user performance efficiently. And it has the following component like operating system that can be defined as the like hardware and the user like so Linux architecture is, we can say that Linux architecture we like refer to the layered structure, okay, layered structure of Linux operating system, okay, and how the computer such as kernel kernel cell and the system library, and like this is not cell, this is about the like shell, okay. So we can refer a system library and the hardware interact with each other to manage the system resources and execute other performance, and it has the following component. So the components that are look like this one. So we can say that if we have, so like this is, oh, okay. So this is the first layer. This is application layer, okay, and this is we call as a shell, the shell, and then inside this one we have a kernel, okay, and then after this kernel there is a hardware. So this so let's see. So these are the things. So this is the application layer. So we can say that application, okay, and this layer is known as a shell, okay, shell, and this is the hardware layer, shell, and this is kernel, sorry, kernel, okay, kernel, and inside this there is a hardware, okay, there will be hardware. So in that case the hardware is there, and this the terminal, like a terminal, printer, all these things, okay, like application utility. The like this outer cell is known as application utilities, then cell, then kernel, and then the hardware, okay. In hardware we have printer, like printer, disk, all these things, okay. So what is the application of the kernel? So what is kernel? Okay. So we have to understand what is kernel. Okay. Kernel. Okay. The kernel is the core of the operating system. You can say that. So we can say that like kernel is the core of the Linux operating system that manage hardware resources and control communication between software and hardware. Okay. Like manage the software and control the communication between software and hardware, okay. So we can say about the kernel, okay. So like core of a Linux operating system that manage the hardware resources and control the communication between software and hardware, and it handle the like it so it handle the like the things that is like process management, okay, the process management handled by this one, okay, the memory management and device control. When you have a device control, these things are managed by this one, okay, and prevent the conflict between multiple running programs. So also like it prevent from like it the conflict between prevent from the conflict between multiple devices, okay, multiple devices, okay, devices, okay. So these are things. So kernel is a core of the Linux operating system that manage the hardware resources. Okay, it manages all the hardware resources and control the communication between the software and the hardware, and also it also manage for the process management and memory management and the like device control, and it prevent from the conflict from the multiple devices. Okay, multiple device or like multiple programs. Okay, program. Okay. Okay. So when we talk about the kernels, then we move to the what is a different type of kernels we have. Okay. So we can write as a like a different type of kernel. Different type of kernels: monolithic, microlithic. 1 second. Types of kernel: monolithic, macro hybrid, and exokernel. Okay. So the different type of like this one we have. So we have like monolithic. Okay. Okay. And this we have a macro kernel. Okay. Macro kernel. Then hybrid. Okay. Hybrid. And this is the exokernel. Okay. So these are the example: mono, macro, and hybrid. So these are different type of kernels. Okay. We have. Well, so then we have to understand what is a system library. So system library provide the essential function that allow application to interact with kernels. Okay. The thing is that whenever like is system library, so like what is the system library? Okay. So system library we can say that as a like provide the essentials function. Also it provide the essential function. Okay. So this function allow to application. So this allow these apps. Okay. So this app. Okay. This application to interact with the kernel. So interact with the this kernels. Okay. Okay. Interact with this kernel without needing to be accessed directly. Okay. So this are called these known are this thing that lie here. So this thing that lie here. So it is known as like it's known as a system function. Okay. The system function provide an essential function where that allow the application to interact with the kernel without needing the direct access. Okay. It contains the usual pre-written codes for the common system operation and act as an interface between application and the Linux. So inside this is known as the system libraries. Okay. These are system libraries. Then what is cell? Okay. Then what is the next thing is that SELL. So what is cell? Okay. So when you're talking about the cell, what is cell? Okay. Like cell is a command line. Okay. So this is like we can say that so this is the cell is the wait a second. So when you talk about cell is the command line interface that allow user to communicate with operating system by entering the command. Okay. Like shell. So this explains the cell is a command line. Okay, and that interface command line and line interface that allow user to communicate with the operating system. Okay, to by their writing the command lines. Okay, like commands. Okay, so we understand it is like this is the our OS. Okay, and if a user wants to want to interact with this operating system, they have to write something like they have to write some codes like command, so through which we can be interacted with the operating system. Like cell interpret and execute user command. Okay, and act as a bridge between user and the user action and the kernel processing thing. Okay, like cell act as a bridge between like user process. Okay, user process and the like kernel thing which help. So we understand kernel, what the meaning. A kernel is a core Linux operating system that manage the hardware resources and control the communication between software and hardware. So user can interact through the like application software through which they like act as a bridge between like yes software and hardware. Okay. So what is the hardware layer? So hardware layer hardware layer consists the physical component that execute command and provide system resources. Like we have the hardware like CPU, RAM, storage, input, output devices, communicate the operating system using device, driver, kernel resource, kernel services. Okay, so we understand the this thing. What is system utilities? Okay, like we have the like system utilities. Utilities. So we have like system utilities. Okay. So whenever we are talking about the whenever we're talking about system utilities, so we can have system utilities are a built-in tool that help the user to manage, configure, and maintain the operating system. Okay, and that like basically are a built-in tool that that help that that helps to like configure and maintain the operating system. Okay, operating systems. Okay, and like yeah, so like built-in tools, they have a built-in tool that help to configure and maintain the operating system. And like user for the used for the task like a software installation, user management, monitoring, simply system administration process of both beginner and the administration. So system utilities help there. Okay. And what is the application? At the last, we have to understand what is the application of the Linux operating system. So Linux operating system is widely used across multiple domain due to their due to their flexibility, widely used and widely used across the multiple domain due to the flexibility, strong security, and open source nature. And it supports wide range of applications across different industry as are outlined below. Like Linux operating system used in like used in the like server. You can say that. So this is server depending on host. Okay. Like it is it's used for like okay no okay. So used for the server hosting. Okay. Okay. Used for the development. Okay. Application. So server hosting, development, desktop, and personal use. Okay. Desktop, desktop, and the personal uses. Okay. You can say that cyber security. Okay. For the cyber security purpose. Okay. And the embedded system. Like what we are like an embedded system. Chip. Okay. On the embedded system, how can you say that embedded system? Okay. For the embedded system, okay, and the supercomputers. These are for the like heavy or like multi supercomputers. Okay. So these are the applications application uses like server and the hosting, development, and desktop or personal uses for the security and security and this like embedded system and for the supercomputers. So these are the application and these are the use cases of the thing. So when we are talking of the server and hosting, so like more power, most web servers, cloud platform, okay, like cloud platform data center worldwide and offer the high stability, security, and the uptime and the critical services. When we talk about development, when you're talking about the development, okay, development. So provide a powerful tool for environment for the coding, testing, and debugging. Support multiple programming language and the framework. When we're talking about the like personal uses, so offer the customizable, secure desktop environment and support daily computing tasks like browsing, office work, and media uses. Okay. When we talk about the cyber security, so cyber security widely used for the ethical hacking. Linux widely used for the ethical hacking and the penetration tool, that is Kali Linux. When we're talking about the embedded system, so run efficiently as a low resources device like IoT routers support real-time processing the hardware. So in that case, embedded system and the supercomputer. So used in the high performance computing environment worldwide and handle the massive scientific calculation and the simulation. Okay. So selecting Linux distribution based on the requirement. So like selecting the Linux distribution depend on your personal uses, need experience, and the purpose for which you want to use this operating system. The different distribution are designed for the task like development, security, server, everyday day-to-day stuff life, and offer the flexibility of customization for the every type of user. So like when we're talking about the beginners, okay. So use cases of the like this one. So when we're talking about this, like what is the use cases of the beginners? Okay. So when you talk about what is the use cases of the Linux in the beginner, so the beginner use the tool that is like Ubuntu. Okay. So like Ubuntu and with the easy to use interface with the highly strong community. Linux Mint offer a window-like experience and then like the Linux. The second thing is that Linux Mint. Okay. So Linux Mint like offer the like Windows-like experience. Okay, Windows-like experience making ideal for the first-time user. Okay, and when we are talking about for the like advanced user, okay, like advanced user, okay, advanced, okay, advanced user. So in that case, like advanced user, so Arch Linux. So that is like Arch Linux, and is known as the minimalism for the high level customization and the Gentoo. Okay. Gentoo is a source-based distribution that allows full control over the system configure, but requires some advanced knowledge. So these are like two use cases of the like beginner user Ubuntu and Linux Mint and advanced user Arch Linux and the Gentoo for the requirement. And the when we are talking about the like when we're talking about the like what are the developers for the developers. So for the developers. So when you talk about the developers, so in that case, they use like uh, Fedora, and the Debian, okay, Debian, okay. So Fedora provide the latest development tools and technology, okay, and Debian is highly stable and suitable for the production environment, and though it may not always include the latest software version, okay. So this is used for the like for the latest development tool in Fedora. They are the latest development tool, and Debian is used for the suitable for the development environment. When you're talking about the like server, so Ubuntu server is widely used and easy to use and lightweight system. Okay, for the DevOps. So like installation, how we like installing the Linux. So like how we install the Linux. So first of all, like installation, just just remember this word. Installation of Linux. Okay. So like for this one, what you have to do. So selecting an Ubuntu, Fedora, and Linux Mint distribution which suit your need in is the initial step in this straightforward procedure for installing Linux. Okay, like Linux, Fedora, and the Linux, and for like suitable for like procedure all this thing. Okay, so first of all, download the iOS file. Okay, like I have to write how to like do. So first, okay, leave it. Okay, first of all, download the ISO file. Okay, so this will be done. Okay, for the official Linux website, and create a bootable USB, bootable USB for the Rufus, or like Rufus for Windows, and the Balanza Etcher for the like Rufus. So like it's known as Rufus, Rufus. And that when we're talking about this Mac OS, this is a Balena Etcher. So we call as a bootable USB. So ISO file, then a bootable USB files, and like create a bootable USB. Okay. After that, insert that you yeah, insert into your computer. Okay. So insert inside your computer. When we insert, so enter to the BIOS. Okay. Enter to BIOS and the like UEFI UEFI. Okay. So UEFI setting, and set the USB as the first boot device, and then set USB. Okay. Set the USB as the first boot device, and boot from the USB, and boot from USB. Okay. Boot from USB and start the Linux installation. Boot USB and start Linux installation. And then select the language, partition disk, create the user account, and complete the installation, and remove the USB and reboot the and complete the complete that installation, and then again reboot the system. So these are the like installation step. So first of all, we have to download the ISO file, then create a bootable USB, a Rufus used for the Windows, and a Balena for the Balena each for the Mac OS. Then insert into the USB drive. Then the BIOS, then the BIOS and BIOS setting and BIOS settings. Set up the first boot file. Set up the boot file and boot from the USB. Then select the language partition and complete the installation, and then again reboot the system. Okay. So like installing a software on the Linux. So for that one, we have to write some codes. So these are the code. So these are the codes that you have to write. Sudo apt install package name. Okay. So this is the okay. So this is like sudo. It's not like sudo. Okay. Sudo. So like sudo apt install package name. Okay. For Fedora, this for the Debian system. Okay. For the it's for the Debian system. So when you have to install for the Fedora for the development use cases. So in that case sudo dnf. Okay. Install this package name. Okay. Package underscore name. So this is for the Fedora use DNF. Okay. So software center for the another suitable for the graphical application and the installation and the searching interface. Okay. For the Python. So Linux command. So what are the Linux command that we are basic Linux command. Linux command. Okay. Linux command. So basic tool for utilizing the command line, that is CLI. CLI. So this is the basic command line interface. Okay, to communicate with operating systems, and our Linux commands. Our commands are as follow. So some basic commands. So we are using ls. Whenever we write ls, so this means the list of content of the directory. So list of content. When we write cd, this means change the current directory. Change the current directory. When we write pwd means that the display. Well, this one for display. So display the current directory path. Okay. Display the current directory path. So P for path, D for display. The display the current directory path. After that, we have CP, MV, and RM. Okay. So I used to C for copy, M for move, and RM for delete the file respectively. So RM for delete the file respectively. Then we use free. Okay. So free show the memory uses, and when you have like DF, so DF will check the disk space uses. When we write top, so monitor running process, and what like SS IP, okay, SS IP ping, okay. So when like SS IP and ping, so help to monitor the troubleshoot network connection, okay. We understand what is like ls. So ls stand for the list content directory. CD mean like change the current directory. PWD like display the current directory path. CP copy move, and RM for delete. Free from like you so the memory uses. DF stand for check the disk space. Top monitor the running process. SS IP ping are these are for the like help to monitor for the troubleshoot and the network connections, okay. Knowing all this command effectively improve the productivity for the clear understanding of the Linux command, okay. So like some of the history of the Linux, so that the growth for the personal project and the backbone of the modern computing, okay. So we don't go inside this thing, okay. So we have some 5 quiz question, okay. So quiz question, okay. So quiz question on this like introduction of the intro of Linux. Okay. So like this 5 quiz questions. First of all, like which component serve as a core? So like understand, listen to my question. So like I have to write this question here. Question number 1. Okay. Okay. Question number 1. Okay. Which component serve as a core of operating system managing hardware, resource, and system process? Okay. So this is the first question. Okay. For what is the like answer? Okay. So let's see what is the answer for this one. Package so like kernel, Linux kernel. Okay. So for that answer is the Linux kernel. Okay. Okay. So Linux kernel serve as a core operating system managing the software and hardware resources. And the second question, that is the second question. Question number 2. During Linux installation, the system failed to boot after setup and keep loading into Windows. So what is the most likely cause? Keep loading and most likely cause. So what is the like thing? Okay. So what is the answer for this one? The Linux kernel crashed before GRUB loaded. Boot order BIOS UFS still set to Window drive. iOS file will not correctly download. A USB was removed before installation. So like I was thinking that in that case the answer will be boot order of BIOS and UFS still set as a window. Okay. So answer is correct. Okay. Like boot order, like this boot order we as a like we use now BIOS and UEFI. So in that we have to set as a Linux. Okay. So let's set as we'll set Windows. That's why it's showing this one. Okay. And the third question, question number third. Okay. So let's see the third question. So like best Linux distribution for the long-term suitable server deployment. Okay. So the best Linux for the distribution for the long-term suitable server deployment is like 1, 2 is like arc is for the advanced, Verdaro is for the like color. So divine. So the divine is like base for all the like all the these things. Divine used for the long-term suitable server deployment. Okay. And the fourth question is that so fourth question, like question number 4. So which component control memory, CPU scheduling, and hardware operation? Okay. So which component control the memory and CPU scheduling and the hardware operation? So let's see. And the option these are like cell and system utilities and kernel and library. So which component like system utilities because kernel is a core operating between this thing. So core operating system like managing hardware and system process. Cell is like a bridge between like user application to talk with like in a command line. So like not like system utilities. So maybe the kernel. So still the answer is kernel. So kernel control this memory control, CPU scheduling, and the hardware, all these things. So hardware operation. So as we line written here. And the like fifth question, that is the last question. Okay, last question. Okay, so based on the like command question, question number 5, that is which command is used in a Linux to display the current working directory? So when we have to display the current working directory, so for this one, we use like cd is for the current directory. Like answer is the display the current directory path, current running directory path. So the current working directory path. So this will display pwd display. So this is all about the Linux introduction. Okay, I think I take 54 minutes to explaining all this thing. So okay. So in next session, we have to like cover all this next topic. Okay. But till now, bye bye.